Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Mage the Ascension 20th anniversary rules by Onyx Path Publishing. This actual play is performed by adults and contains adult themes. Our World of Darkness is intended for adults. Listeners should pay close attention to all listed content warnings. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., which may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your storyteller. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I am your storyteller this evening, Michael Diamond. My pronouns are he, him, and we are back with another episode in our Mage the Ascension Chronicle, the Ascension of Babylon. We want to welcome you in and thank you for listening. And thank you for joining us, those of you who have been enjoying the show so far. A special thank you to our Patreon subscribers. You can join them at patreon.com/the Old Ways podcast. Jump over to YouTube and check us out over there and all of the other spaces you may find us in. Now we'll turn to character introductions to my right.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I play Kayleigh Hannah Godfrey.
Okay. And next to Kayleigh.
This is Lecco playing Dante Maxim Vargas Bailey, currently napping.
Indeed, you are, sir, at the end of the table.
This is Jake playing Oliver Devereaux, and I will be doing my last interview. Hopefully joining the Order of Hermes family.
Hopefully, indeed. And last but most certainly not least.
Hi, this is James, and I'll be playing Adam Harrison, and it's always about the money, right? Always about the grind.
It is, especially for those of you who are working that life on Mars lifestyle. Got to pay for tattoos somehow, right?
100%.
So we're going to open the show and raise that beautiful curtain back at the library, John Crescent's library, with a series of tests and interviews. Oliver has had a chance to meet some fairly interesting characters, equally different, each time getting a short break to cool down, to bring yourself back to sort of center, have some more tea with John and Sherry. And after such a, we'll just say, fiery interview process from House Flambeau last time, you sit outside in that same similar chair with John, and he says seems to brush some of his clothes a little bit. It's almost if he feels a little unkempt. He is, but that's okay. Nobody seems to mind. The last interview is going to be with a man named Anthony Alstar. House Fortuna. Quite the character.
Oh, I like him already.
Well, he wouldn't be my choice, but this isn't about me, it's about you. Just keep a hand on your wallet. Through the main entrance doors that lead from the official library to this sort of, well, unofficial version of it, you see a young man, probably 30 by the look of it. He has black, slick back hair. He has white sunglasses on. He has a white and red checkerboard jacket that is turned up to 11, and black slacks, and then wingtip shoes that almost click as he moves. You can hear him arrive, and he unbuttons the jacket, puts his hands at his hips in a almost provocative move when he's next to John, and he snaps his fingers and he says, this cat you're talking about? John looks up at him incredulously. Yes, Anthony, this is him. All right, you, he points to you. Come with me.
Gotcha.
He moves down the hallway towards one of the interview rooms. He sets a very swift pace. He doesn't seem to lose a whole lot of steam with his gait. He gets into the room, opens it up, and then sort of swings his hand in a wide arc to point you into the room. Right this way.
Can I go in?
You head in and you see a diner. Like a 50s diner. Big jukebox, records on the wall, chrome, seating, accents. He shuts the door. When he shuts the door, people come out of the back kitchen area, wait staff. People walk in the entrance, which is over there. A lot of glass, a lot of milkshakes, very Americana. He sits down in a booth and gestures to the seat beside him.
All right.
When you sit down, you feel the pushback from the cushy cushions. You can feel the sort of that thick vinyl backing that is on them. So, you want something to drink?
Oh, yeah.
He puts his hand in the air and waitress comes over, skirt, the whole nine yards. Pure 50s. She says, what do you have? And he says, I'm going to have a vanilla milkshake. And you?
I'll have a strawberry milkshake.
2 shakes. Right away. You see her write it down on a pad of paper. So they say you're special.
Special?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've always liked to believe I was special.
No. Who doesn't, right?
Right.
Who doesn't? What do you know about House Fortuna?
Very little. But judging by the name alone, has something to do with fortune, luck.
That's part of it. Sure. The main thing we do is run numbers. Big numbers. Small numbers.
I like numbers.
A guy like you would. I mean, look at the past, right? College boy, deep into mathematics your whole career. You had a burgeoning collegiate career. And what happened?
Well, we decided to part ways.
That's a real polite way of saying it. He reaches over and taps on this, what looks like jukebox. That's next to that's sort of a mini thing that sits right at the booth. And when he taps on it, there's a television screen that kind of swivels over and he turns some knobs on it. And you see yourself in college. Tell me what's happening here. You see yourself sort of at one of these collegiate study halls or meetings. You think this is when they found out what was going on?
Oh, yeah. It's when they decided that my extracurricular activities weren't exactly on the up and up.
Yeah. I've got no problem with it. Listen, the colleges are all meant to do a specific thing. They get you in. They conform you to curriculum. Now, House Fortuna isn't necessarily one to shirk a reasonable amount of guardrails. But Vegas is a little different. Our purview here is different. The things we get into are different. We're careful because being careful is important. But we're all in it for different things. Me, I think that a lot of the greatness that played out here in Vegas played out in the 50s. It was not only a time of, glitz and glam, but obviously, the mafia and all of the big show acts that happened in the 50s, pre-Vegas, pre-Elvis stuff, right?
Right. Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
You bet.
The Rat Pack. Not
just them, but others. Wonderful, amazing music. There was something they got close to out here in the 50s. They got real close to figuring something out. You ever heard of the lost calculation?
Can't say that I have.
There's a calculation that's out here somewhere. It defies standard numbers and symbols. It's painted supposedly somewhere on the rocks out in the desert. Word is that it's something that can transmogrify just on its own.
I get immediately more interested.
House Fortuna has been searching for decades for it.
I don't suppose you read my senior thesis.
I may have. He, from his suit coat, pulls out a copy of your senior thesis and places it on the table. But give us the elevator speech, if you would.
Well, I believe the universe is run on mathematics. And somewhere deep in there's got to be an equation. An equation that unlocks the universe.
How familiar are you with standard numerology?
I have some passing familiarity with it.
What about Chinese numerology?
A little bit.
It's different. Western numerology is one thing. Eastern is far different. Numbering systems, of course, are different, but where they put their emphasis on the numbers is different as well. A lot of the other houses that you probably have interviewed with, they have a couple of main things that they're after. House Fortuna is not necessarily interested in war. Doesn't mean that we're going to shirk away from it when things have to happen. But we sure as hell aren't into it like the Flambeaux are.
Seems messy.
It is messy. Personally, sometimes I think the rest of the traditions are just having a hard time owning up to the fact that they lost. It's not easy to lose, to bet everything, to go all in and crap out at the table. It's terrible.
It's all part of the game.
There's a lot of folks within the order that would really like to retake certain places. And they're gearing up for it. They want it badly.
I don't know. In my expert opinion, when you lose at the table, you walk away, you come back another day, and you try a different gambit.
Yeah, I tend to agree. You got to change up your strategy a little bit. You can't keep throwing bodies at the same problem. But there are treasures that are lost there too. We can get to that. The milkshakes arrive.
I'll take a sip on my milkshake.
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know if it's $5 milkshake, but
it's I don't know if it's $5 either. You're not sure you're going to have to pay. He takes a sip of the vanilla shake and then places it aside and then lights up a cigarette. All I need to know is three main things. One, are you willing to play by the rules?
Well, within reason.
Okay. Two, are you willing to follow instructions?
Sure.
Okay. Are you willing to take on a dangerous job?
Well, what's life without a little danger?
Good. That first question I asked you, if you had said yes right away, you'd be out that door. Rules are one thing. Sometimes we have to abide by them. But it doesn't mean that we don't look for our own outs. There are guidelines, of course, to everything that we do. We have to be careful about guidelines.
You know, a wise man once said, good players play within the boundaries. Great players play with the boundaries.
Playing with the boundaries, my friend, in this game can get you hurt. But we'll work on that. You're going to need instruction. That's the thing. You're going to need to understand what you can do and what you can affect and what happens when you try to affect things that you shouldn't. You need to learn all the things that can hurt you so that way you know how far to push. So this is pretty simple. He turns your thesis over and it becomes like a single draft piece of paper. It's an agreement. He lays out a ballpoint pen on top of it. Between you and the house.
Oh, you're already ready to offer me a contract?
Oh, certainly. I wouldn't have come to this meeting without knowing already.
Well, you know what? I like you, and I think I'll get along just fine in House Fortuné.
Good. Feel free to read it.
I'll take it over and start reading it.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things here that stick out, right? So the house does require you to have just some visibility when it comes to meetings and to follow house rules. That it's interesting that when you read over the part where it talks about house rules, that even the house rules are sort of in quotes. And then an acknowledgement, obviously, that Anthony is the head of House Fortuna in this area, in the Las Vegas and Southern Nevada space. There's also a byline in there that talks about how you need to work to resolve conflicts when it comes to the technocracy, which is sort of a word you've heard John mention before, but you don't know really a ton about them.
Oh, I assume that at some point you're going to tell me about this technocracy.
He coughs a little bit. You see the puff of smoke come out of his mouth. Yeah, no, it's definitely something we have to cover. Yeah, I mean, I like to think of them as sort of people who rig the games.
Oh, the house.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but in a real deep sense. Not just the house at the Wynn or the Encore or Mandalay Bay or any of the other casinos. I mean, the house. They control the ground, consensus. That's the thing that you need to get into your skull. So they control what the everyday average person thinks. And so we're wild cards to them. We're like jokers in the deck because they don't control us. They can try to take us out of certain hands dependent upon the game being played. But most of us always find a way to sneak back into the deck and get dealt out. What I'll teach you is how to observe what they're doing. And hopefully how to keep yourself from being observed while you're working your own math. That makes sense?
Crystal clear.
Good.
Now, before I sign this, there's just one more thing. I have a certain legal trouble that I've been dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
You help me out with that?
We can work to get it resolved, sure. I mean, I know John's been nice enough to put you up at the local house. That's sort of his deal, right? He's your cozy slipper, parka wearing librarian. All he wants to do is make you comfortable and make sure you're not getting into fucking trouble. That's his bag. That's always going to be John's bag. And he's a great guy to come back to and, you know, peruse the shelves or to ask questions to. He knows a lot of stuff. But he's also, you know, for lack of a better term, he's a hermit. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He doesn't want to do anything. You can't ask John out to dinner because he's just going to sit with Sherry in these fucking chairs outside and eat encore meals for the rest of his life. Because he cares mostly about his library. The reason why he set you up with a place to sleep is because he doesn't want you fucking in his library. He's a man of very few needs, which is great.
Right, for what he does.
Right. And when John asks something of me, just hopefully as he would ask something of you, you'll do whatever you can in your power to make sure he gets it. Because he's not going to ask very often. And frankly, the library is a good shelter for us if we have problems.
Yeah. So, with a flourish, I will sign the document.
Okay. I would like you to make an Arte roll when you do so.
7s, I assume?
Yeah.
That'll be 2.
Okay. So you get the sense that there is a specific energy transfer that happens when you sign this. Something comes out of you through the pen and into the contract itself. Okay. He takes it, looks at it, folds it up into this sort of strange shape. It's not origami, but he folds it a bunch of times and puts it into his jacket. That, my friend, is that. He closes the pen, puts it back. Welcome, Talos Fortuna. He reaches out.
Shake his hand.
He shakes your hand. When you pull it away, you have the ace of spades in your hand.
Very nice.
Okay. So, we will now speed the clock up just a little bit to September 28th, 2023. And so, I think it's within reason to ask, Dante, how you feeling?
I mean, you tell me. Last I knew, I was sleeping.
You are sleeping. In this space, in this sleepy, drowsy state, laying back, you sort of feel your body get up. You feel yourself sit up. But the world around you is still a little dim. It smells like you're still very much in a clean room. You don't really see anything well defined around you. It's a bunch of shadows and sort of shapes. And then something jumps into your lap.
The fuck?
It's a very small, furry creature.
If it's not biting me, I'll get a closer look at it.
It's Sophie.
Oh shit! What is happening? What are you doing here? Hello?
You can hear yourself. You echo a little bit.
Am I here?
And then the lights flicker. Like all the lights come on in the laboratory area and they shut off just a nanosecond later. You get a big flash. And then another one. And you feel Sophie like curl up, like tight as a ball.
Well, I will. I'll keep my hands on her. I'm gonna look. Where was I? Was I still in that chair?
Yeah, still in the chair.
Can I stand up out of the chair? Because I was getting blood drawn, right? Like that's what I remember.
You start to stand up. The lights flicker again, and then all of a sudden around you, everything goes back into motion. The doctor's then standing next to you. Time winds forward as you remember it. Whoa, hey, hang on, sit back. You hear a bunch of beeping and like medical alert devices going off. But easy, Dante. Just stay right there, okay? Don't move.
Stanley?
Yeah, just hang on. There's a lot of blood here.
What's going on, Stanley?
You look down, there's blood coming out from the IV space that you're in. It's all over the floor. And there are, an extra nurse has joined Stanley. It's not Kit, but it's someone similarly dressed. And they're trying to collect your things. Your heart is racing. You have no idea why. And you see Sophie still tucked in very close to you.
Well, I'll let them work with the arm while I continue to hold Sophia, and I guess I'll. Am I in pain? What is happening right now?
Yeah, so bodily, what you're feeling is pain in your left arm around the bicep area, and it feels like all the nerves in your back are on fire, like central spinal column, and then up high to the center point of your neck.
All right, well then, I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking. I'm going to grip the chair with the other hand and try not to squeeze my mink to death while I do my best to look like I need all the help they have to offer and more.
Just try to stay still, Stanley says. You look down, and what you find a little shocking is that there is that a leather restraint around your ankles? No.
Am I tied down?
No, you can't be. The straps, the image of them fade from your mind. No, you had some sort of adverse reaction when we were drawing blood, and we tried to stabilize you from causing too much blood loss. He sort of looks down. You see that the bottom part of like Stanley's lab coat is covered in spattered blood.
Is that mine?
Yeah. I guess you're a bleeder, huh? It happens.
Sure, Dr. Stanley. Look, I don't even remember dozing off. I kind of just lost it. That's not like me. Is this going to be okay?
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Let me just get a bandage on it. And he's bandaging it, and you see him putting, you think some sort of basically like clotting cream on the place where they were taking blood from. He gives it a pretty solid bandage, a wrap. And
can you do anything about this flaming spine that I have?
Wait, what's wrong with your spine?
I wish I knew.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I have something here for you. It's a local, but it'll be okay. He sort of turns back to the cabinetry here and gets a bottle of this light blue liquid out and pours out about 4 ounces.
I look at those pictures of the athletes on the wall, and I give one the finger mentally.
Here, just take this, and that should soothe it. It's essentially liquid ibuprofen.
I take it.
You take it. Yeah, I mean, the pain in your spine dims. Probably goes down from probably say like a 7 to about a 3 or so.
Do you want to tell me what happened here?
We were drawing blood. It's not uncommon for some people to lose consciousness, pass out when that happens. Not everybody likes the sight of needles, so we're pretty well used to it. You passed out in the chair. The blood draw takes a little while because we need a significant amount so that way we can do all the proper tests just to make sure that you're clean, not only from a sports science perspective, but, obviously from a potential drug or enhanced medicinal program angle. I'm sure HGH, stuff like that, it's all over the place. A lot of people use it to keep themselves in premier shape. We don't have those type of things here. We do it in different ways.
Look, I signed on to do this. I've had my blood drawn plenty of times. I've never passed out. Something's wrong.
Okay. He looks genuinely concerned.
Like I don't, no onset of fatigue. I was feeling pretty sharp before I got here. So, you know what I think I need? Am I bandaged?
Yeah.
I'm going to stand up.
You stand up.
How do I feel?
I mean, other than like the sheer amount of like mental concern over what happened, passing out is not something that you do, but I mean, physiologically, you feel okay. I guess when you say, how do I feel? In what way are you trying to determine that, right?
Can I physically walk? Do I feel impaired?
You don't feel impaired.
All right. Whatever you want to figure out, schedule a follow-up or something. I'm going to give myself a chance to hydrate. I don't know how much of me is in this room. And yeah, I'm sorry I dozed off. I look for my bag.
It's right there.
You got a place I can grab something to drink in here?
Yeah, right down there.
Look, I'm not going anywhere. You all know how to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
We've got enough to process everything that we need, so don't worry about any of that.
I just kind of amble out of the room, and I'm going to go to where he said there was something to drink first.
Yep.
Now, the reason the selfishly, right, in Dante's head, he kind of wants to get back to some sense of normalcy because that was fucking weird. But so there happens to be this like amazing and expensive and until very recently unavailable equipment that is all over this place. And it's all calling to me, regardless of my current state.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Dante's gonna just heed the call of his obsession and use it to kind of soothe him because this was jarring. And he's going to put a lot of this equipment to the test in a bloodied state.
Okay.
And he'll use it to create kind of like a baseline for how he's feeling in this moment because he doesn't know what caused his pain. Like that's what's bothering him right now. So he wants a deeper understanding of everything. He needs to understand how he's moving, like where the impacts are. I have a question for you as from like a system perspective.
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal with like creating effects or like creating rotes or like combining spheres to try to do things?
What's the deal?
Yeah, like how like functionally is it just essentially like raise the target of the effect because the number of spheres involved or like how do you like if I wanted to make a rote, right? If I wanted to construct some sort of effect specifically from like a set of spheres, is it just a question of like putting it together and getting, your focus in line and like your paradigm in line and kind of lining everything up that way with the thing that you want to do?
Like the systematic portion is probably still, highest sphere plus X as far as the difficulty goes of succeeding in any sort of role. But as far as creating your own rotes, yeah, I think that is the main thrust, right? Focus and paradigm have to be aligned, and then you have to be able to show that you understand that you're utilizing that aspect of it.
Right. So what I think I'm going to try to do in here is what I'm going to refer to it for now as like it's like self-benchmarking, but it's like for your pattern. So through like deep evaluation, like response, focus, memory testing, he's going to use the facility here to obtain as comprehensive an understanding of like his health and what's wrong with him or what's right with him and his mental state, and his reserves because, well, he's lost a lot of blood.
Yeah.
And so I would assume that like the tools that are here could be used to yield pretty precise and predictable outcomes in that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I was going to go like mind 1, life 1, prime 1. Can I do that with 2 arete?
I don't.
Like, is there a limit on that, or is it something like? Is it?
So I don't think that arete would be a block on the number of spheres you can use at one time. I think arete is just a stopgap for how high of a power you can use at one time. That's how I feel about it. Okay. So I don't have any issue with you doing something that's mind 1, life 1. I don't know what your what's the prime sense for? You just
so it's energy reserves, like specifically like your well, for him it's his blood. That's how that's what he's assessing. So if life does it, then life does it. But like there's a bit more to it than that. So if there's quintessence in his body, he doesn't quite understand it, but it's there.
Yeah, you should be able to sense life with life 1, right? So there's that. And then you're using mind 1.
Yeah, for a state of mind, focus, memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Emotional state.
Yeah, and prime 1 for sort of those etheric senses. Yeah, that all makes sense to me. So then tell me what your focus is. Tell me how you're doing it.
Right. So using the equipment here and like his understanding of his own personal benchmarks, he'll just perform a deep evaluation. So it'll be performance testing on any number of the pieces of equipment here. Focus memory testing through kind of his other self-management practices. Whether it's through like boxing routines or things of that nature. Reaction tests. So yeah.
Okay. So it's a coincidental effect. So it's highest sphere +3.
Okay.
Memory serves correctly.
Really, that's it? That's so cool.
Yeah, it's coincidental, so no one is seeing you do it. And I think I believe it's higher sphere +3. There's a big table in here for it.
Right. Okay. 2.
Why paradox? Well, okay.
Am I wounded, by the way?
Nope.
Like physically? Okay.
Nope. You are not wounded at all. Okay. So you take some time and begin doing a sort of routine. The equipment they have here, it doesn't take you terribly long to find your way after getting water to what you see as a exceedingly well financed and professional gym. I mean, it dwarfs anything that you have at your gym. Not just in size per se, but in equipment. And it's quiet. No one else is here. And you begin looking at, okay, well, here's this treadmill, or here's this, any number of different gym equipment. And you sort of line up 2 or 3 things that you can use to help assess where you're at.
Yeah, I go through pretty much everything. Mobility, reflexes, strength, balance. Something's wrong with my back.
As far as what's going on with your back, it feels like to you, as you've seen that sort of vision layover of what your the idealistic version of what you see as yourself with your own life magic or life senses. Because I don't even know I suppose maybe Dante would consider it magic. He's been called a little mage by Tudor before.
Yeah. Yes.
There is something that is in your bloodstream now that you can't identify. You know it's there, but you can't identify what it is.
So whatever they took, they put something in here, because this wasn't here earlier.
That seems to be the assessment you have.
Okay. Me not knowing isn't what bothers me. It's the fact they decided to put it here and not tell me. Because I don't remember reading anything about, by the way, we're going to inject you with some shit. But anyway, yeah, I focus my efforts inward. So, other than that, is it just kind of like there? I guess that's whatever this foreign substance is that's in my blood. Is it causing me any physical discomfort?
Well, the short answer is yes, it is causing you some physical discomfort. But after sensing what it is, you're getting the idea as to why. The reason why it's causing you physical discomfort is because it is making its way to a certain part of your body. And the testing and the sort of arduous work that you're doing in analyzing yourself, you realize a little too late, is actually assisting this in doing what it needs to do, because you're increasing the blood flow and the speed at which your body is reacting.
Yeah, I'm helping this thing circulating.
Right.
Okay.
It has found its way into a specific part of your body, and that is the spinal fluid area.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Well, I can't get rid of it right now, and I'm not going to let on, because clearly they don't want me to know that I know. So I will attempt to treat it myself as far as managing the pain goes. So I guess once I'm done with my self benchmarking, I'm going to basically go through the process of working my way around wherever the discomfort is lying right now. So basically, I want to kind of just tune it out.
Yeah, it doesn't take you long to be able to tune the pain out. And maybe after a half an hour or so, it winds its way down to like a 1.
Jerks.
And that is where the more insidious feeling comes from. And you wonder...
It's settled.
Yeah. You wonder if maybe, if you hadn't woke up, would you have noticed it all?
I believe this shit, Sophie. I keep pounding on this treadmill. I also don't know if I've gotten information as to where I'm staying. Like, I have the house. Well, they're supposed to be getting the house of the family, but otherwise there's the apartment. So right now I'm just kind of floating around.
You are.
So I think what Dante's going to do, because he's still carrying a bunch of cash on him, when he wraps up here, he's going to do something he's never done since he's moved to Vegas. He's going to go to a casino and get a hotel room.
Oh, fancy. Okay. So you get wrapped up here at the office. You collect your things. You go through the discharge space, to leave. Obviously, Kit's there. Don't see Stanley unless you go directly back through that clinic room.
No, I'm sure they'll call me if they need me again. They made me a little mad. They've kind of imposed something on me. I'm gonna have to take out of here now.
Kit waves goodbye.
I give her kind of a half-hearted, tired bottle raise. I will continue. I will just look as exhausted as I can as I make my way out the door. It's probably not hard. I'm probably pretty fucking tired.
She, sort of help walk you out a little bit. She doesn't stay behind the desk.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm good.
Sure?
Yeah. Feel a little better after that incident, but everything's fine.
Good to hear. Hey, you wanna... She gets like a few inches closer to you and puts something in your pocket. Call me. She winks at you.
I smile at her.
Dante's not an unattractive man.
No, it's kind of absurd how attractive he is.
Yeah.
He's just not very smooth.
She saunters back to the desk.
I fight the urge to scream, maybe, before I leave.
All right, so I got to ask, as someone who's been to Vegas a few times, where are you getting... What casino are you going to?
I think that Dante would go to one that he is at least familiar with. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. He's going to go to one he's not familiar with. He's going to dare. Fuck comfort.
Interesting.
Which means no MGM, no wherever the car show is playing. So maybe, I don't know. I don't want to know where his sister goes because she probably goes to the gnarly place, wherever that is.
The gnarly place.
Yeah.
There is a place you've heard about that is a little bit north of the main strip, which to you as a local is like a tourist trap.
Mhm.
There's a place called the Excelsior.
I mean, I feel like the name resonates with me. Let's go.
Okay. You head off towards the Excelsior.
The other thing I will do on my way to the casino is he's going to stop and get some clothes.
Okay.
And he's going to stylize himself to basically accentuate his better features. So he can't get tailored right now. It's a little short notice. But he'll make something relatively like high-end casual wear.
Mm. Okay, fair enough. You gonna get yourself trimmed up. All right, so I gotta ask Kayleigh, that next day after your discussion with Father Solomon Price, what's your plan the next day?
Well, so today's Wednesday, right?
Yes, Wednesday.
So I think realistically, I will be going to my local gym for my normal workout in the later morning. And I will probably also touch base with my bail bondsman to see if there's anyone new that I should be aware of to put on my board. And also to, let her know that I took Rossi and Daniel Leland off my board as well. And just see what she has for me.
They give you the name of a woman. Her name is Sandra Heller. You get essentially a email that gives you this new skip. And when you turn over some of the pictures, you get a real nasty feeling in your stomach. Sandra Heller is a woman you've seen before.
Oh.
You saw her in the office of your landlord.
Okay.
She has evidently skipped on what looks like something akin to felony carjacking.
Oh. That sounds not good.
Some of the more immediate points, information you've been given is that she's known to do some work for an independent clinic near the Fashion Show Mall. And that's Dr. Chuck's immediate care clinic.
Okay. All right. Other points, or was that the only one?
Well, she has been in and out of Las Vegas PD custody a couple of times for a myriad of misdemeanor charges. Simple fines, that sort of thing. But most of them have been, in sort of a strange way, her legal record shows that a lot of these charges have gotten thrown out. That either her lawyer or the person appearing has been able to show where his client was justified in her actions or wasn't actually breaking the law or was able to just get around some of these legal things. But this carjacking thing, which evidently happened about 3 days ago, that she was supposed to be, in court for, and she was bonded out, and she's now just not been available, and so she's dropped on your board.
Okay. And I at least know the last time I saw her, which was the day before in the office of my landlord, so I don't know if there's been a last sighting since then, like of something more recent than that.
No, nothing more recent than that.
Okay. And how much is she worth?
How much is she worth?
Yeah.
We'll say that she's 2,500.
Okay.
Worth enough for you to go after for sure.
Okay. So I will put her up on my board. And I'll leave her for just a little bit. Because I need to make sure that I stay in shape, and I definitely did not do my normal Monday workout that I normally would have done by now. So
No, probably not. Okay, so you do your workout. We'll leave you there for a second. And I want to check in with Life on Mars with Adam.
Yarp.
So this shift is full of a bunch of regulars, which is kind of nice because you know what to expect.
Right. No surprises.
Right. So your pre-weekend, your weekend doesn't really start until tomorrow. The Thursday, Friday, Saturday is usually like the bulk of what you would call issues that can come up at the club.
These are more prep days for the weekend.
Basically, you're getting things ready. Things are being cooked and prepared for the walk-in and stuff like that. So that way they can dish up food. And the big thing that's going to happen today is likely going to be karaoke, but that won't be until later tonight.
Going with Adam's physical attributes, he's helping Carlos by loading in, the kegs and the heavy stuff for him.
You load in some heavy things.
Drop the last keg. Hey, Carlos, can I talk to you for a minute, man?
Yeah, man. What do you need?
Hey, listen, I know I don't get paid till next week, but I was wondering if I could get an advance of say a couple $100.
Yeah, everything okay?
Yeah, it's fine. I just I got an opportunity for something kind of for myself for once, and honestly, I'd like to take it, but I need the cash.
Yeah, okay.
You can take it out of my paycheck. This next check. That's totally fine.
Oh, I mean, where else would I take it from?
Kind of nonsense. Well, it's like, not waiting around for me to pay you back or anything. That's bullshit. Just take it out of the check. It's fine.
It's into his pocket and pulls out a couple of 20s and sort of starts counting. Yeah, okay, here.
Hey, thanks, man.
Sure, no problem. Get table 11, would you?
Of course. Yeah, no problem. He grabs one of Cheryl's aprons and heads over to the table.
See Cheryl kind of shoot you a look like, what are you doing?
Raises his hand. I get table he wants. He mouths words to Cheryl as he heads over to the table. Evening, folks. What can I get for you?
Coffee. You hear the gentleman say, there's two people, a guy and a girl who's probably in their rough 30s. The guy is probably a little bit older just by looking at him. He's got aviators on. He hasn't shaved in a couple of days. He looks a little rough.
The Vegas weekend.
That's right. She, on the other hand, looks like she probably had her hair done recently. She's wearing black leggings, black boots, and then this sort of both see-through and tight top. And she has the right side of her head shaved, and she has a big mane of this blonde and brown hair. Coffee's fine, darling. Whatever you got.
Absolutely. Back with 2 cups of Joe right away. He goes and gets their stuff and surveys the floor as he's doing it, because he is still, after all, security too. So
yeah, you get them. Well, how about this? Why don't you give me a perception awareness roll and see how you're picking up on the feelings there in the area.
You said perception alertness or awareness?
Oh, sure. Awareness.
Okay. 2 successes.
So you're bringing the coffee back over to this table, and it's really clear that the other tables around them are a little unnerved by them being here.
He makes note of the subtle movements of the people, probably avoiding looking directly at them, subtly shifting their chairs away. puts the coffee and a carafe of coffee down. Here you go for any refills you folks might want.
Sure.
Puts 2 empty cups down and pours the coffee. So
Her voice is like poured honey.
Adam smiles at her and gives his best public smile. Silly question to ask, but what brings you guys to Vegas?
Oh, we're locals.
Oh, so fear and desperation then. He smiles.
The man opposite, so the man on your right side at this point speaks up and he goes, yeah, man, I've been in Vegas for a good 40 years now.
Yeah, but you've probably doubled down on the loathing too. He pours one for him, pours his coffee now.
Yeah, no, we pal around here in the bike scene, you know.
You got a bike? Cool. I've always wanted one, but I have this. What was that little problem I have? Oh, right. I'm broke. Speaking of, I should get back to my other tables. I'll be back over in a little bit for you guys. If you need anything, just wave me down.
Sure thing.
He heads back over and makes sure to check on Cheryl, check on the other tables, but he's keeping a very close eye on those two. Not a scrutinous, like he's, just leaning against another table and staring at them. Yeah, he's got 2 empty glasses and he's just, but he does check on their table, even from a distance, probably more than other tables.
Okay. Oliver, after your interview, Anthony decides to take you out to breakfast. He says he knows the perfect spot. That perfect spot is a place sort of out of the way from the main strip. He says that the main strip usually is just overdone, not his speed.
Right. Tourist trap.
Yeah. And he takes you a little bit north of the strip, but into West Vegas, and you arrive at a place called Life on Mars. And Anthony's car is a Ford Fairlane.
Nice.
Red and chrome and pretty.
This is a beautiful piece of machinery.
Yep, she never lets me down. I saw to that. They get it. You get out and head inside. There are a couple of cars outside, a couple bikers. This is a sort of place that is a sort of this combination restaurant and club. Very common in Vegas, so that way they can put in slot machines or they can put in, all sorts of things. There's a karaoke sign up here, so probably treats to all types. He stops on the outside and sort of drops his cigarette and stamps it out and adjusts his white glasses. Interesting. This place got a real interesting feel. So the feel for Life on Mars is this, I guess the best way would be like Hollywood classic outer space feel. So all of the atomic era space pictures and accoutrement are on the walls here. There's, moon rocks or faux moon rocks on the walls. There's a lot of strange things that like glow or glow in the dark that probably shouldn't, but it has a real specific sort of retro feel to it.
Okay. I can dig it.
And when you walk in, it does not take you more than 2 seconds to ID Adam behind the bar, sort of like working.
Recognizes, he throws a wave to the new customers and then recognizes one of them, as food service people do, where he pauses for a second and his other part of his brain goes, oh shit, I know you.
I point at him, recognizing point.
He waves them up to the bar.
So the dude that Oliver walks in with has a red and white checkerboard blazer on. He almost fits in here.
Welcome, gents. Have a sit.
Flags. Business shoes. He's got a wild pair of like white sunglasses that have strange shapes. He takes them off and puts them in his pocket. Just sit anywhere?
Any way you'd like.
Thank you, Adam.
Turn up.
He a friend of yours?
You could say that.
Be over with you gents in a moment.
Good. You sit down and at a table probably 3 or 4 spots away from where you're sitting, there's a pair over there sitting and the lady that's sitting with this sort of older, probably gives off a fair biker vibe dude, she's a knockout. That's like a Vegas showgirl level knockout. I mean, she's not done up in, the big feather boas or whatnot, or the headdresses, but that's a nice looking lady.
When Adam brings the menus over, he makes sure to not stand so that he's blocking Jake's character from being able to see the lady that's over there.
That's a real friend.
Right?
Here you go, gents.
You got milkshakes?
Of course we got milkshakes.
I'll have a vanilla milkshake and your burger. He doesn't even look at the menu.
You got it. Double dose of cow coming up. How about you, man?
Wait, is it morning?
Yeah. We'll say it's mid-morning.
Okay. You got biscuits and gravy?
I think I can make it happen.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So, how's everything working out with you?
It's, he kind of leans, puts both hands on the table and leans in a little bit. I tell you, man, it has been a real wild ride so far. You see that probably some of his upper shoulder has like bandages on it and such from the new.
So, I kind of hooked up with the group.
Did you? How's it working out?
Well, I got a nod when I say it to the guy next over there. So I think it'll work out real well.
Turns and looks at the other guy in the checker coat. So you are also a real estate agent.
He smiles. Yes. I deal with numbers. My name's Anthony. He extends a hand.
Adam extends a fairly large hand and shakes it.
Ooh, look at the juice coming off you, pal. Sort of shakes his wrist.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. You're fine. Good that you two found each other.
Yeah, I guess we had an eye-opening experience the same night.
Yeah. What is it? The word kismet?
No, don't believe in it. Don't believe in the randomness of anything. All that stuff lines up. Trust me, pal.
Fair enough.
So you're one of them, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
They said there were 2 more. You guys met any more?
No, you with Salvatore?
Yes. Yeah, we'll talk about him.
Yeah, well, he brought me and Adam together.
That was nice of him.
And I'm Oliver. Well, he's a quick study, but I've always been more of a learn as I go fella, I guess. So, it's still a little new for me as well. But yeah. It's great that you met some guys that know what they're doing. I hear tell that there's probably some not so nice folk out there as well, which any sort of thing like this is going to have. They're humans. Doesn't matter what they can do. They're humans, which of course makes them. And he looks around at the people that are, shoveling food in their mouths and swine. All right.
So before we leave, get my new number.
Oh, yeah. Scribbles his own number and swaps it with Oliver. Right. I was wondering how I was going to get a hold of you.
There you go. I've been laying low lately.
Did you kill a guy?
Let's not talk about it here at the table.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
Oh, I was joking, but this is Vegas. I probably shouldn't throw that around as often as I do. All right.
You go off to get their food. So, Kayleigh, after your morning workout, after all of that expenditure of energy, what's the plan for the rest of the day?
Well, while I was working out, I definitely had time to mull over some of the stuff that the father told me yesterday while we were talking. And I have the feeling that he knows a lot more than what he's already told me. So I'm going to have to show up for another meeting because I need more answers. Because let me put it this way, the father's already given me way more answers than Mr. B has.
Well, I think that's one way to think about it, sure. Mr. B does tend to be a little cryptic.
A little bit.
Okay, so you're going to muse on what the father told you, or?
Oh no, I'm just going to go back to the church.
Okay. All right, you're headed back to the church and sort of get us to a wrap point with what Dante was doing. Checking into the hotel.
The Excelsior
is something. So it is, the theme is the ancient world. You get a lot of Grecian columns, that sort of thing. It's about 1,800 rooms. There are 3 signature attractions here. And so that's the Clockwork Shop of Hephaestus, Orpheus's Underworld Adventure, and Dionysus's Dance Den, which is something you've heard about, but is a little exclusive. You haven't had a chance to actually check it out yet.
Okay.
So this place used to be Quicksilver's. That was a name it held from 73 when the hotel was originally built to 86. It went through a renovation process. And then in 1988 became the Excelsior.
Right. Yeah, Dante shows up, dressed for his arrival. So he's got high-rise trousers, maybe like a jacket with some pretty sharp lapel. No tie.
No tie? Fair enough. You're just getting a room, so...
Yeah. Well, I'm getting a room so that I can then hang out here and party.
Sure.
Yeah. So what is... Yeah, I go to the front desk.
Well, yeah, you go through... So this hotel, like many casino hotels here in Las Vegas, is more of a complex, right? This isn't as big as, say, like the Strip would be, but the per night here is about 300, and it gets you a varying amount of amenities. They obviously give you the option to become an Excelsior member and to join, this grand lineage of previous guests who've come and who've raised their, stakes. You get all the marketing material one likely overworked hotel, bookkeeper could give you.
I let him sell me the best deal he can sell me for 72 hours. So basically, I let him know, you have 72 hours to make me an Excelsior member.
Okay. So they give you a plan which involves options. And it's based on a lot of different factors, right? Like shows you might want to go to or time you might want to spend on the casino floor. They give you like a comp drinks package, that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah, I think all told, he'll probably drop like $2,000 for the room and perks.
Okay. So you get a pretty nice room. The Excelsior has probably 20 total floors. and you're up probably on 16, 17. You're a strip facing, which is nice. So you get to see from the balcony, you get to see the wide range of all the glitz and glam that exists not only here, but also a little further down, because you're a bit north of the strip at this point. You are closer to Fremont than you would be to the strip, and Fremont in Vegas really is where like the wilder parties happen at, and all secrets get revealed down in them streets and in those alleys.
The Dionysus dance thing is here, right? That's part of Excelsior.
It is. There's also 2 other permanent shows. So there's this sort of throwback Vegas style show from like the 60s and 70s, big floor shows with dancing girls, but also like music and comedy and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think honestly, Dante is not looking to dance tonight, so I think he's going to do like dinner and stand up, and then after that, get a little bit of money together and go figure out how these table games work. Like he knows how they work, but like he's not a gamer or gambler by any stretch.
Okay. Yeah, dinner here at the Excelsior is pretty good. The portion sizes are fairly reasonable, depending on what you get, and the service is exceptional. And you pay for a single person. Your meal is probably between 80 and 120. That's just
Sure.
about what it would be. The stand-up is pretty funny. The crowd gets into it a couple of times, but I would say that the evening meal and entertainment for you is on a scale of 1 to 10 is probably a 7 to 8. It's a pretty good time. It does feel a little lonely because it's just you.
Yeah, it's just me.
It's just you.
I leave Sophie in the room. She can hang out on the balcony and look at the strip or whatever.
Sure. And it's really at that point after the dinner and the show that you begin to gravitate towards the casino portion of the evening. And you can sort of feel this building pulse around you. The energy in the casino is different. And I don't know how much time Dante's spent inside of casinos, like on the actual casino floor.
He actively avoids them.
The energy is way different here. There's a lot of hope here. But in equal amounts, there's also disdain or concern. You see a lot of people in different spaces in their lives. People watching inside of a casino is fascinating because you see all sorts of different things. It's also smells totally different too, because in the casinos here, you're allowed to smoke. And so there's that aspect of it as well. At one point you're passed by, a member of staff who has cigarettes and cigars for sale and all manner of other potential smokable things.
Outside of his dinner, he's basically consuming like water and flavored water and whatever.
Yeah, you get the push from any of the waitresses that stop by the tables that you eventually sit at. Obviously, they're happy to help you with drinks, comps, etc. But if that's not your speed, then you're going to end up focusing on the games.
Sure.
And it'll.
No, that's pretty much like I'm kind of letting so Dante doesn't have outside of knowing how to craft his image, which is something he's good at. All of the performance work he does is visual. So he like it's the only like social skill he has that's really been like developed. He's not like, I don't know, antisocial. He's just unskilled. So in most cases, he'll probably just defer to kind of the personalities present. And he's never really had an opportunity really to just kind of live around people. He was just always kind of doing something. So this is an interesting time for him to just kind of be a person and not, I don't know, a fundamental force in his family.
Yeah, it's interesting. For a character whose past has been so placed in drive, forcefully putting yourself in neutral feels a little strange. But it does give you the opportunity to consider a lot of things. And for us, it's going to give us a chance to consider what will happen next time we get together. And so we'll just leave all of our players right where they are just before the bomb drops. And so thank you for joining us on this episode of The Ascension of Babylon. We greatly look forward to the next episode. Thank you and good night.